Garrick Stoneveil. Garrick Stoneveil rose before the first amber glow of the day, his boots sinking slightly into the cooling basalt as he checked the solar-flared herd. The routine was a fragile choreography. Feed the ash cattle, adjust the coolant vents, watch the horizon for the next flare. Suddenly, a pulse of light ripped across the sky, hotter than any forecast, and the vent sensors sputtered into silence. The herd, startled, surged toward the fissure, scattering ash and fire. In that instant, the calm of the ranch shattered, and Garrick knew he had to act before the molten ground claimed them all. He gathered the ranch hands beneath the shade of a metal canopy, their faces smudged with soot. The communication array flickered, each word a crackle of static. As they trekked toward the fissure, the heat pressed like a weight, and a thin layer of crust gave way beneath their feet. Garrick traced the pattern of the flare on his handheld scanner, discovering that the magnetic field had shifted, pulling the ash cattle toward the magma river. The early obstacles, failed tools, rising temperature, and the uneasy silence of his crew tested his resolve, which felt as thin as the glassy crust they walked upon. Deeper investigation revealed a hidden network of ore veins beneath the ranch, a treasure that the distant corporation Solaris Mining had been mapping for months. Their drones hovered unseen, scanning for water pockets that the cattle needed to survive. When Garrick uncovered a sealed conduit that could divert fresh meltwater to the herd, he realized the stakes were no longer just about livestock, but about control of the planet's lifeblood. His brittle resolve cracked under the weight of betrayal. The ranchers now faced a choice between surrendering the water or fighting a force far larger than themselves. The flare intensified, turning the sky into a furnace of crimson fire. Garrick stood at the edge of the fissure, the makeshift shield of reinforced basalt plates trembling in his hands. He ordered the crew to ignite the emergency pumps, sending a surge of cool melt toward the raging river. As Solaris drones descended, their blades humming, Garrick faced the central challenge: to protect the water source and the herd against a mechanized onslaught. The heat threatened to melt his resolve, but with a desperate burst of will, he slammed the plates into the conduit, sealing it just as the flare peaked. When the flare finally faded, the Asher cattle grazed peacefully on the cooled plain, and the water flow steadied, a thin ribbon of life winding through the cracked earth. The drones retreated, their data corrupted by the surge. Garrick, though exhausted, felt a quiet shift within his resolve. Once brittle, had been tempered by fire. The ranchers gathered, sharing a modest celebration, aware that the planet would continue to test them. Yet in the quiet after the storm, Garrick understood that strength could be forged in the crucible of crisis, and that the future of the solar flare ranchers rested on a resolve that, though fragile, would not easily break.